Hey guys, Veronica here. Welcome to another exciting episode of Winter Prep. I'm not sure how many we have at this point, but between cover crops and covering plants, there's going to be a handful. And this is one of those topics that, there's some information out there on, but a lot of it kind of is like, use plastic and open it up during the day. One of the things that I tend to like to use and buy, and I did not order it early enough, and we have freezing weather coming in the next 48 hours, so I had to kind of brainstorm and troubleshoot it, is I like to get something that's called Agribon, is the brand name. There's also Frost Cloth. It goes by a bunch of different names. It's apparently impossible to find in nurseries and big box stores, and they only have this green fabric that you have to take off during the day, which is really annoying because I want like a row cover that I can leave on a plant all winter long without removing it. So I thought about it for a little while, and probably going to piss off some quilters out there because my best solution that I came up with was this cotton batting that you get at the fabric store. It's probably about the same, give or take, price as the row covers that I like to use, but the thickness is nice. I'll show you. So here, you can see my hand. You can see my hand behind it. So you can see there's like, the light will go through, which is what I want. It's breathable, which is what I want. And so what I did was, this is all for Fred, my little avocado, which is supposed to be frost tolerant, but because it's a baby, I decided to not take any chances. I want to see her grow big and strong before we release her out, on her own. And so since it's her first year in the ground in a new climate, the experience is a lot more frost than where she came from, which was in Central Coast. I decided we need to fashion a cover here. And so I got this cotton batting. I built this frame just with a fence panel that I had lying around from the peppers that I've potted up now, and some T-posts that were helping support that. And so just wired this onto this frame. And we're gonna see, I haven't put this up yet, but we're gonna see how this works out. I have scissors off camera somewhere. But I'm just going to unfold this and see if I didn't buy enough yards. Hopefully I kind of did the math in my head, which we know that works sometimes. But to just cover this little avocado tree completely for the winter. So the batting is nice because it's a little bit thicker than the frost cloth I'd normally buy, and probably right in the neighborhood of the same price. It might be a tiny bit more, but if you're looking for like a good last minute cover situation and you also do not have access to the sort of covers that you would like at your nursery or big box store, then I highly recommend going to the fabric store and looking at the quilting cotton batting interfacing, and clean them out and cover your rows and trees. So this is my attempt at growing something that is somewhat subtropical in a not subtropical environment. I'm going to cut some little holes probably for the those tall posts to get through as soon as this feels even. And so I'm just trying to make sure that it's not catching too much on this fence paneling, because we don't want it shredding, because then that kind of negates the purpose of having a cover in the first place. It looks a little short, but I might be able to pull some leaves in there or something. We'll see. So the whole goal is that it's still able to get rainwater in, kind of like filter that out, cut down on the amount of like cold air that blows across, and still let light in. So trying to cover all of these bases. Like I said, it's an experiment. I have not done it this way before, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. So just wanted to pass that along if you're kind of scrambling like I was and you don't want to use plastic because it doesn't breathe. Let me find my scissors. Okay, so we're getting this guy covered. The main goal is to really just like try and block out that north wind. I'm gonna see what my coverage is over there. That looks okay. I could drop this down a little, you know what? I might actually drop this frame down and then come right back, so that the fabric touches the ground so they don't have a bunch of cold upskirt air happening. 1 minute. Okay, and we're back. I moved this entire fence cage, just wiggled it down a little, because what I really wanted was for this fabric to brush the ground so that a bunch of wind wouldn't be blowing up under there and creating sort of, more cold environment. Now how I'm going to, I decided not to cut holes on this and instead just wrap it around these back T-posts because they weren't all the same height. And how I'm going to attach it is with some handy dandy binder clips. So I think everyone knows what a binder clip is, but if you don't, I will show you. Here are these things. Nice little office supplies. They're very strong and they're very inexpensive. And I thought I had some lying around, but only the tiny ones, so they won't work for this. But these are the in-between size, 1.5 inches, I think. And all I'm gonna do is make sure that I have enough on the ground up there. Then I'm gonna pull it around the side here. And then this is why I have the wire fence in place, is so I have something to clip to. And so I'll just clip them in there. I'm gonna clip one to the bottom of the T-posts, just so when the wind comes blowing through here at like 45 miles an hour, this whole thing doesn't blow off. There's no guarantee that won't happen still, but it's nice to at least try and prevent it. So I'll clip them there, and then I'll wrap these backside around and clip it somewhere on the front, just to make sure it's nice and snug and not going anywhere. So super easy, super inexpensive solution. I think I bought 3 yards of 90-inch wide batting for this project, and I probably could have gone a little bit more because it's just barely touching the ground, but I think what I'll probably do is take some logs or something and just set something up to kind of buffer out any wind zone there. But I'll just clip this down all around, and then I want to show you my other crazy winterizing, not frost-friendly trees idea. We're gonna move to the front yard for that. I've got kind of a harebrained scheme for the figs to test out and see. We're gonna do it and see what happens. So I have burlap, but I've got another thing up my sleeve. Maybe someone can give me some feedback as to if you've tried it before. We're gonna move that way now. Okay, so now we're in the front yard where the figs are at, and like I promised, a weird way to wrap them for winter. So these are pipe insulators, like you'd use outside on pipes that you don't want to freeze, and I don't want these to freeze, and they're sort of pipe shaped, so I figured, yeah, it might work. So the first thing I'm going to do, as you can see things are crumbling, is cut off any dead wood, as well as some of these side shoots that are just too narrow to wrap, and I might try and root those just for the heck of it. But this looks like it's dead down to probably, well, it's not live there either, to right here. So I'll take that guy off, not worry about him. And then I'm gonna take off some of these little guys, like this little side shoot down here. It's really thin, smaller than a pencil. I'll just root those. But here in Texas, figs freeze to the ground in the wintertime most of the time, especially we just get really biting cold wind, and so if you live in a northern area and you're not growing only Chicago hardy, you may be wrapping them in burlap or piling them with leaves and mulch. But I wanted to try something different and see if it didn't work, because I'm always down for an experiment. And I think that once these get past a certain age and a certain diameter, there's less of a chance of them freezing, but until then, we got to do what we can to help them out. So this is dead down to there. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to try and leave this guy on. And so I'm going to take it's a little smaller, I'll take this 3/4 and then just sort of eyeball the measurement down to the ground and up this stem to right there. Again, this is an experiment as always, but I figured why not try and insulate them as best I can. If it works for pipes, then it should hypothetically keep anything else that's carrying water from freezing, including a fruit tree. You have to take this little bud off too. Okay, and so we'll just pop this guy around there, all the way up through there. I might even be able to squeeze those little buds in there. And then let's do this one too, actually. This is nice. These pipe insulators are really nice, I think, because they have this built-in adhesive strip, and so I can just pull that off and then paste it closed, and then it's closed for the rest of the spring, until spring. I don't know if that's a bad idea long term, but we're gonna find out. This guy we didn't even think he was going to survive this year, and so to have him spring back like this was great. And so it makes a lot of sense to try and protect it versus just letting it die back and then having to do this whole growing, back from the ground and from the roots again. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to finish up on this guy, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. As always, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button wherever I've put it today, and follow me on Instagram at FlavorKit for weird tips and tricks like this, as well as, just what I'm thinking about, as we move into winter for the spring garden coming up here in a very short couple of months. So there's all of that, and until next time, happy gardening.